if we look at the density of unions over the course of the last 25 years, and it's declined, the middle class is doing worse. And the fact of the matter, we're having more challenges at the NLRB. You know, for 37 years, I was an electrician. I was a union representative. I filed probably more elections at the NLRB than this entire group combined. I understand firsthand how it works on both ends. And I'll start out by saying, not every employer is a bad employer. We have some very good employers that we work with. But when we have the bad ones, they can abuse this system to the nth degree, literally crushing people like you. So when we have a conversation, I want to remind, we have 213 attorneys in Congress, and there's only one electrician. What's my point is, I understand this. I've lived it from both sides. So, Mr. Trumka, thank you for coming in. And you understand, you've heard, you've lived coming out of the mines, how tough it is sometimes. When we look at, finally, as the process goes, you file for election, and let's just assume that the union wins it, then you have to sustain that recognition. And let's say you make it through that second step, and then you try to bargain for your first contract. What happens then typically when there's an adversarial relationship? Is this something that they can force their way and say, let's get a contract, let's go to arbitration and figure this out? Or what typically happens?
Currently written gives the employer to decide whether or not workers will have a union. It was never intended that way. Since 1935, the law has allowed and accepted the fact that when a worker and an employer don't disagree, you can have recognition without an election. They do it most of the time in the country. So that's been since 1935, been the law. Only recently has it been questioned. Now one of the colleagues here wanted to make this seem like this was almost like a governmental election. Well, when you will get elected, you're getting elected to govern. When a union gets elected, it's to represent the workers there. It's like their lawyer. That's all that they're getting at that point. I might add that whenever a majority of people or a minority of people don't vote for you, they're still governed by what you do afterwards forever. In this election with 14B, they get a chance to say, we vote no. We also won't get in, but we want all the benefits that the union has to bring, and we don't have to pay a cent for it. That's what you're sanctioning here. That's what comes out. What happens is normally an employer will surface bargain. They will not bargain with you. They won't give you proposals. It doesn't go back and forth. The first thing will happen is you ask for information, and it will take them several months to get you the information, and then it's not all there. So you ask for it again, and if they don't give it to you, then you go to the board, and you go through a bunch of charges. It takes 3 or 4 years. Finally, if you get the information, they sit down. They're not required to agree. All they do is mouth empty words at you, and you can tell pretty quickly if they're trying to get to an agreement or whether they're trying to get to impasse so that they can declare things and go on their merry way.
So what typically happens to the person of the workers who've organized this? Are they targeted? What usually happens to the
Absolutely. They always get targeted. They always get targeted, they get fired, and as you heard from my friend next to me, it will take months, years for them to get back. And when they do get back, all the money that was spent defending them is tax deductible. Any money that the worker gets or earns in that interim period is deducted from what the employer pays. It virtually costs them nothing. In the case of Como Tire, we had a guy that was fired. He got fired at a non-union shop, and he went to a union shop and actually had better wages. So when he gets put back in 3 years, they'll owe nothing.
Rich, Thank you. We're out of time, but I want to thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.